Right.
What is going on, fight fans? Welcome. Thank you so much for joining both of us today, even though Maddie and I might have one singular voice combined, both of us a little under the weather, but we're trying to power through because we've got a special anniversary to celebrate this week. UFC Vegas 100. I don't know if celebrate's the right word for 100 Apex cards, but they really Apex the heck out of this one, and it's going to cause Maddie and I to have to dive in, get a little bit creative here. I got to bring in my man, the myth, the long shot legend, all the way from Fort Lauderdale, Florida, to join us today through Miami traffic. Maddie, how you doing today, buddy?
I'm good, bro. I'm actually going. I'm trying to get healthy right now so I can leave for Vegas Friday.
Yeah.
But I'm going to go to the Apex card. My first Apex card. I've never been to an Apex card before.
It's a good one to celebrate. The tickets to get in the door certainly are not cheap at those events. They're pretty remote, but they'll probably put you on camera. There's not that many people in the audience, and most of them get a shot, especially if you hit like a big bet and you're just going nuts, bro. They will pan to you. So
let's go. I'm definitely, it's gonna be hype.
Yeah, and we'll get some stuff for social media.
When we hit the cycle parlay, they better cover it.
Yeah, absolutely. And I was going to evaluate the state of the cycle parlay. We both last week in Edmonton were like, it's kind of a tough week for a cycle parlay.
It was. We forced it.
Didn't end up hitting really any particular legs. Like, I don't think any of them got close. I'm trying to remember.
No, not at all.
Yeah, I mean, like, well, so, the frustration about Mike Malott.
My God.
No activity whatsoever. So really never.
He was a different guy. He was literally a different fighter.
Yeah. We had the Blanchfield mounting throughout the fight, but probably didn't give enough benefit to Rose's sub defense with that leg. And then Marc-Andre Barrios was a complete idiot. So cycled off target. We'll probably still build one at the end. I just love the layout. I mean, you do too now. It's such a good idea for us and our method of victory with my model. I was able to model a few fights on this card. Might talk you into a dangerous amount of submissions considering you're a person. But what do you say, buddy? You want to just dive right? I mean, there are a lot of these fights.
Go.
I don't know if you and I are going to have a lot to do with a lot of these fights, including this one here. Melissa Mullins taking on Klaudia Syguła, first one up, I guess, at women's bantamweight. And you and I both were on Melissa Mullins in her last fight, played inside the distance against Nora Cornell, and she gassed second round, took a knee to the body, and that was it. And now she's facing a total newcomer, Klaudia Syguła, stepping in for Montserrat Rendon on short notice. So, Maddie, I'm not expecting you to have like a gigantic, strong or opinion here.
Yeah.
I know I don't have one, but what do you think of this fight, man?
Real quick, bro, before we go into this fight, I got to address this comment. So, guys, there are like 24 fake Maddie Bets accounts. Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. I don't know what to do anymore. I've tried everything. I've tried deleting them, blocking them, banning them, reporting them. If someone is messaging you from a Maddie Bets account asking you to pay $100, it is a complete scam. Please always click on their profile, see if they even have any followers, because they use my profile picture and they're scamming people. I try to tell people every week, but it's like it's just impossible to let everybody know. But it's really frustrating, and I get people all the time that are getting scammed. So I try to let people know, but again, it's pretty hard.
Yeah, Maddie gives out his picks for free. I give out my picks for free. We do have a Home of Fight Picks service, but you really, really will be knowing you're signing up for the right thing if you sign up for it. So be careful out there. There's a lot of internet scammers and things like that. I think it's a good thing. I sent $100. Don't send $100.
Oh my God, yeah.
A lot of scams out there, so try to stay safe. But what do you think of this fight, buddy?
Yeah, so Melissa Mullins, her stock was pretty high. Then she gets stopped in her last fight. That was a good fight, by the way.
Yeah.
How long ago was that now? Not that long ago.
It was earlier this year.
April. That was in April. And now it kind of, Nora, who stopped her, goes out and, kind of gets pieced up by Cavalcanti in that fight, So I kind of think this is a dog or pass spot. I don't know how good Claudia's competition has been, but she's stopping everyone she's pretty much fighting, she's putting girls away. So I think it's kind of a dog or pass spot here for me, but it's a weird first fight.
Yeah, there's this fight and then another one later where I'm like, I have a gut feeling one of these underdogs is gonna win, but I can't make a sort of case for them. And I think that one's here. By the way, if you missed it here on the Home of Fight YouTube channel and all that good stuff, I was on with Clint McLean on Monday, the Die Hard MMA podcast. We went nearly 3 hours because both of us are long winded about UFC content, but we both were kind of leaning Syguła and pass as well. I watched a lot of tape on her before that, or as much as I can. And by the way, some weird tape where like you'll get cages that don't have fences on them. You had unified rule sets that didn't allow grappling.
Jesus.
It's just like it's the weirdest stuff you could possibly imagine. But like I think when Mullins has been dropped in her first 2 UFC fights, when we now saw that there was a weakness to the body, and all of a sudden her win over Arena Alexieva hasn't aged particularly well when she was dropped in that fight. We haven't seen Russia Ronda since. Like, we're kind of hanging on to the very edge of the roster here, where I think minus 260 is wildly irresponsible.
Yeah.
Like I think the play here is like, I'm gonna look and see what maybe Klaudia Syguła plus 3.5 comes in. Maybe she steals around on a split decision or whatever. You know, I kind of like those spreads for some of these. They cover their number, but they may not end up getting the win, which is kind of the story of these chalk favorites in 2024. But like, I don't know what the weakness in Syguła's game would be to play Mullins inside the distance and by a specific method here. So I don't really know. We're not going to put this anywhere close to a cycle or a long shot parlay.
No.
And speaking of which, I want to have like a safe parlay intervention at the end of the show. This is about me, not you. So we can look forward to that. I kind of want to change the way we're doing the safe parlay. I want to make it closer to like a 55-60% clip. I feel like we've been chasing 5-1.
What kind of odds are you seeking?
Well, we should probably keep it around even money if I want to hit 55-60%. Like
yeah. Okay, that's fine. I'm cool. Yeah, we have the cycle parlay, so I'm cool with transitioning that.
Yeah, I'm just saying that you and I, we love props, we love bigger numbers. I feel like we fell into a thing with the safe parlay where we lost the spirit.
Yeah, that's fair.
It's supposed to be It's supposed to be me doing something smart, not something dumb like Caio Machado inside the distance. So
oh my god!
I had to look myself in the mirror this weekend.
Yeah, Caio Machado, bro, he's dead to me.
I mean, he looked great. He looked great physically, just not, as a fighter inside of the cage was the problem.
His whole strategy was kind of just fight off his back foot. Like he didn't really go forward. I mean, him and Mike Malott didn't really look for finishes at all.
I got the most patient Renson Romero effort of his entire career. Good for me, I guess, for paying plus 140 for that. So, why don't we move on? We don't really have much here. Maddie and I are never going to pretend to be diehard film guy. Certainly not on that fight, but maybe a little bit better here in this next fight at middleweight. Tresean Gore taking on Antonio Trócoli, a.k.a. Mr. Mackenzie Dern, coming off a loss over in Abu Dhabi against Shara Magomedov. We haven't seen Tresean Gore in over a year. His last win was actually that nasty guillotine choke of Josh Fremd. He's battled some injuries and stuff. So, Maddie, these guys probably really on the edge of this 185 roster. Maybe win or go home for them. There's urgency. There's not much talent. What do you think of this matchup here?
I think Tresean Gore is a solid favorite here, truthfully. I think Trócoli, like, people are going to look at that and be like, oh, he made it to that third round with Shara Magomedov. But, I mean, I'm not mistaken, he was able to get some takedowns earlier, just kind of drag the fight on.
I don't think he got a takedown in that fight. I'm pretty sure.
Was he just clinching up, or I guess he what did he do to like kind of just progress the fight?
I mean, really, I think so he did try 7 takedowns. He just didn't attempt them. 4 minutes in control time as well. You can do that to Shara. You can control him on the side of the cage.
Yeah, Tresean Gore. Yeah, why has it been a year since he's fought too?
Yeah, some injuries and stuff. I don't have any specifics. I can look them up real quick. But remember, he was booked for that Bo Nickel fight and pulled out. That's where the injury came from.
Yeah. No, for sure. Yeah, this is another tough one. This is honestly another tough fight to call here. I mean, what do you think of a violence bet in this spot versus a going distance?
I do like violence here, especially given Trócoli 24% takedown striking defense. We haven't seen Gore. We only saw him hit the card against Brian Battle. What if I told you I already had action on this fight?
What do you got?
I played Trócoli for a unit. I got him at plus 165, which is a comparable number, but like I think at least with him at that number, I get good jiu-jitsu. I think I get like a base, a skill that I can rely on. Man, I look back at Tresean Gore's resume and it's very empty. Just 6 pro fights, not a lot of experience. Like they were hyping this guy up on the Ultimate Fighter because he knocked out Gilbert Urbina. Chinny, now a lightweight, or now a welterweight. Brian Battle, now fights at 170. And he got destroyed in that battle fight, as you would have expected with the two's relative skill. He's fighting smaller dudes, not really putting him out. Josh Fremd pieced him up in the first round, and Fremd since cut from UFC. So, like, I don't have a lot to work on when I think at least Trócoli, good Brazilian jiu-jitsu, really tough matchup, tough circumstances for his debut. I'm willing to be a little bit more forgiving. So I think this should be closer to a pick 'em, and I still think plus 148 is fine for Trócoli here.
Interesting. Oh, yeah, he just got in some legal trouble too, didn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Beating up. Well, I don't know. I don't know. Could he beat up Mackenzie Dern's ex-husband? Because I don't know if his striking accuracy would be good enough. He'd be susceptible to take punches given the way the defense looks it. But like, another thing about this fight, I mentioned Gore's fighting a lot of 170 guys. Trócoli used to fight regionally at 205, so I think he's the bigger, stronger guy here. When it was the first fight of the night, I texted you, I think on Monday, I was like, we may have first last sub in this fight as like a fun long shot that you could put in, but now it's not the first fight of the night anymore. They moved it to second, but I kind of am looking at Trócoli sub in this spot.
Oh, okay. I didn't understand what you meant by that because I was looking at the fights and I was like, yeah, now it makes sense.
It'll be interesting. I'd be shocked if we had props on FanDuel for this fight. Given
it's not up right now. I'm checking elsewhere to just see.
Yeah,
if we get an idea. What number would you need on Trócoli by sub to pull the trigger on it?
4-1. 4-1. Let me see. I bet Shady Sportsbook can come through in the clutch for us.
Yeah.
I like the guy in chat. I gotta call it Elijah. I'm calling him Broccoli. Oh no, we've only over 2.5 plus 100 here. So they're leaning violence in this spot. Under 2.5, then minus 140 on the other side. So there is a violence expectation. I think Trócoli 1-2 sub, and I don't know. Maybe I look at the decision. It is the non-violence era of UFC, but
Trócoli sub plus 325.
Oh. Well, that's almost like curiously short to a point where
KO is plus 800. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Tresean Gore has lost once by knockout, never lost by submission. I mean, he went the distance. Problem is, the guy went the distance with Brian Battle.
Yeah.
But then he loses to Cody Brundage in round 1.
Yeah. I mean, other than being food for Bo Nickel, I think some of these canceled fights are also a decent argument for Trócoli, where he was matched up with Ikram Aliskerov, Umar Sy, and Oben St. Preux. So a couple of those guys at light heavyweight, by the way. So,
yeah.
I mean, UFC thinks pretty highly of Trócoli, memes about him and Mackenzie Dern aside.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Tresean Gore also had Bo Nickel and AJ Dobson as canceled bouts as well.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't really have a very high opinion of Dobson, but the Nickel matchup felt like that was just a spot for Bo to. Have they matched Bo yet with a guy they think has any chance of beating him?
No.
Yeah. Why don't we move on?
Let's move on.
I don't think we have a lot to work with there.
Oh my God! Don't do this to me, Damon Blackshear.
Oh, we're gonna do this, Maddie, and I'm gonna talk you into maybe one of my favorite props and one of my model's favorite props of the weekends here.
Please tell me it's Damon Blackshear by submission.
It is Blackshear by sub, bro.
Oh, talk to me.
Oh yeah, I love Damon Blackshear in this spot. But let me tee it up for the fellas, okay?
Yeah,
Damon coming off
submission guy against a wrestler coming forward. That's what I like.
Yeah, but before we get to this one, Maddie, tell us about your checkered past with Damon Blackshear.
I
If
put
people don't remember.
$10,000 on Damon Blackshear as my dog of the year on the money line. This dude got starched by a straight left hand in the first 15 seconds of the fight. Never been put away in his MMA career.
Right.
When Matty Betts puts 10K on him, he goes out and gets his starched on the feet. And honestly, I think it was more like, yes, it was a sick left hand, but his head hit the canvas.
Yes.
And he was done.
Yeah.
He was done right after that. And Austin actually called that. He actually predicted him to get knocked out. So I got to give him credit there. I will say, if he doesn't get put away, like, I like his chances over a 15-minute fight in that matchup. I think this is a much better matchup for him, though, because I don't think Cody's a guy that's gonna put your lights out like that.
Yeah.
But man, I can't sell Damon Blackshear. I have to stick with him. I have to just trust in him to bring me back. Bring me that money back and some more. That's what I need to do.
Yeah. Maddie, yeah, I'm so glad you like this, Maddie. Let me give you a little bit of a preface here of why I like the submission in this spot. Cody Stamann has fought two guys with any sort of relevant submission threat that are long, that they have very long limbs.
It's 400.
It's plus 400. That's a good number.
400.
That's what I needed. Aljamain Sterling and Said Nurmagomedov. Nurmagomedov got a guillotine choke very quickly on Stamann, and then it was a Nibar Savloyev stretch, whatever you want to call it. Sivlov stretch. I'm sorry, I mispronounced that. I went Mavsaryev in my brain, but Blackshear, very similar athletic profile. I think as far as just like a money line in this fight, dude, like, I think Blackshear is the way longer guy distance. He's competitive. People forget that Blackshear, like, on 7 days' notice, goes in with Mario Bautista, goes the distance, arguably got robbed. That's why you were so high on him against Montel Jackson. And I really don't think Blackshear's chinny. I warned you about Jackson's power, and I think that's more about Montel than it is Blackshear, in my opinion.
Blackshear's never been chinny his whole career.
Yeah, and it's not a spot to worry about. By the way, the only UFC knockdown and knockout for Cody Stamann came against Eddie Wineland with the mustache in his 40s. So
yeah,
I don't think Stamann's putting anybody's lights out in this division. I love Blackshear to get a sub. In some of these scrambles, I think he could hurt him and he could club and sub him. Like, this is an athletic difference to me, and Blackshear sub is one of these subs that I had highlighted as a potential target for our cycle parlay.
Yeah. I mean, Stamann went the distance with Marab, went the distance with Douglas Silva de Andrade, Keller Lapalus. He's losing all these fights.
None of those guys submission danger.
Agreed. And then Aljo kneebarred him. Yeah. No, you're right. You're 100% right. Maybe even decision, submission, double chance on this one.
Yeah. I don't feel very strongly about a knockout outcome. I think it's plausible just based on athleticism, but, like, I mean, we saw it with Yusuf Salal. He hurt Jack Shore last week, and, like, you can get a lot of random fluky things, but in general, Blackshear has a tendency to look for submissions, and I think this is a great matchup for him to do so.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Cody's been subbed twice total. Okay, so it's just this. It is two high-level guys, though. It's the only hesitancy.
I'm very high on Blackshear's grappling. He got Twister on Jose Johnson. Like, you know how hard it is to get a Twister? Like, it's one of the rarest submissions in UFC. Yeah. This guy put it together. I think he and he went the distance with Mario Bautista. Very high level ground game. I feel really good.
Bro, these are all reasons why I took him. You know.
Yeah. Yep.
I mean, the body of work is very good when you peel back the curtain. Yeah. You know, went the distance with Bautista on short notice. Put away Jose Johnson. Put away, and finished a guy before that. I mean, he was just looking great against everyone.
Yeah.
Bree Bosherot, very close decision.
You got bit by variance, my friend. You got bit by variance.
Yeah.
It would have been interesting, the version.
All right, so are we down? Are we down for this on the cycle?
I think it's the strong leader in the clubhouse. I can't. There's one more submission I could talk to you about, but I think Blackshear is a very solid favorite.
All right, we'll make a decision towards the end. We probably shouldn't make decisions on the cycle till the end, anyways.
Exactly, because you and I might be feeling one more than another. So we'll move forward here. Let's talk about the next fight up on the card, which is another one that
this is a great scrap.
Yeah, I think it is a good scrap, and I'm glad to hear your opinion because I played it and now I feel like shit about it. So, like, maybe
what'd you play?
let me set the table first. Charles Radtke taking on Matt Semelsberger. Chuck Buffalo was the latest victim of the guy in the main event we'll talk about later, Carlos Prates, a really lethal knee right to the liver. And then Matt Semelsberger coming off a loss against Preston Parsons. So all of a sudden, I don't know if Radke's fighting for his job, but it feels like Semelsberger is. So he's a slight underdog, plus 134. We've seen both these guys a little bit, but the way they match up is intriguing, Maddie. I agree with you. I think it's a scrap. Who do you like at these odds and why? Okay, should I tell you who I played now at least then?
I'm gonna take a guess and say that you played Semelsberger.
No, I played Radtke. I played Radtke at minus 150. It's now minus 172, which I would not play straight. I certainly don't think I'd parlay it either. It's I don't know how you could go higher with 60% with Radke's body as far, but like I backed Semelsberger against Preston Parsons, bro. There are a lot of issues in his game in this modern version of MMA. Doesn't defend double leg takedowns at all. Just a 45% takedown defense. Radke's not been super efficient about getting the fight to the ground so far, but it hasn't taken much against Matt. And then the biggest thing, I can't really hold my hat off, Maddie. You can look through and look at Semelsberger's UFC wins. There's not a single impressive win on the resume. None that look as good to me as Gilbert Urbina. So
Jake Matthews.
Oh, yeah, that's right. He dropped Matthews a few times and ended up getting the decision win there. So,
yeah. I mean, do you not think Jake Matthews is a better MMA fighter than Radtke? Because I do.
I do, but Matthews is also susceptible to these random chin issues, right? Like he's been sparked on a few occasions where I agree with you that I think as a better talented fighter, Matthews is significantly better. But really what bit Matthews in that fight was his chin.
Yeah. I got to go dog here. I mean, I understand this ain't Carlos Prates, but Carlos Prates made this dude look silly on the feet. He was toying with him. Semelsberger's obviously nowhere near that level of striking, but he's gonna have a reach advantage here. He's a tough dude. He's a guy I want fighting for my money as an underdog, truthfully.
Yeah.
You know, so I gotta take him here. I think he's gonna be a little bit better on the feet. The ground could be interesting for sure. I know he's got pretty poor takedown defense. But I mean, he's fought good competition.
Yeah.
I mean, Oris Medic, Preston Parsons, Jeremiah Wells even. I think Jeremiah Wells is a better version of Charles Radtke, and that went to a split decision. So I got to go Matthew Semelsberger here as a dog.
That's why I'm saying is like I felt like I found a really good number on one book and I played it.
Yeah.
I don't know how I feel about it. Like honestly right now where it's in general, Radtke kind of gives me inconsistent regional vibes, you know, where I think he could find a way to lose this fight, even if he's the more talented guy. The Blood Diamond fight was embarrassing. He couldn't get Blood Diamond to the ground. He just held him against the cage for like 10 minutes. He ended up getting the decision win and then throwing out a homophobic slur afterward. It was not the best first impression that I've been kind of trying to shake. And Semelsberger's been my guy in some spots. I cashed knockout one with him against Martin Sano. I've had a decent read on Semelsberger. I played Uros Medic against him. I'm trying to think of some of his. I played Chaos Williams against Semelsberger when those two matched up. So
I mean, I don't think I know you said Semelsberger's had an impressive wins, but I don't think Charles has at all. I mean, Blood Diamond has been pretty poor.
Yeah.
At the UFC at just that level, and then Gilbert Urbina's been he's been getting sparked. So,
yeah, I might just buy out of my position with Semelsberger here.
Yeah, you could do that.
Yeah, I mean this line's moving toward Radtke.
I almost like Semelsberger decision. You know, to be. I mean, we're obviously not going to put that in the cycle just because your early read was money line on Charles, but I don't hate that.
Yeah. Yeah, gosh. I wish at the end of the day I could probably cash it out. It wouldn't help the tracking site, but I could cash it out. It's just I watched the Semelsberger fight against Parsons. I was like, man, this guy looks cooked. And I think that was just my initial impression. But you know, you like Parsons.
I do like Parsons.
Lost to Oban Elliott, so I
But
like
Oban looked good. Oban
Yeah,
looked good.
I like Oban Elliott. So
Yeah.
man, this area of welterweight and it's not been good to me, by the
Some
way.
very competitive matchmaking, I think, on this card.
Yeah,
Let's
there
move on
is.
though.
We'll move away from that one since we're not sure what to do with it. Onto
Yeah.
this one where I don't
I
know.
need 30. I need 30 seconds, bro.
Yeah,
I'll let you engage the chat here on this one. I'll be right back.
yeah. I don't think there's much to engage. We'll see where the line drops here for this last minute battle. Elijah Zaleski, Dos Santos, supposed to be taking on Nicholas Dalby. Now all of a sudden he gets Zach Scroggin on short notice, and the little bit that we know about Zach Scroggin trains with Marathon MMA and Trey Ogden, so similar-ish type of weight class. 7-0, looked good regionally. Seems to me like a guy that might have gotten a shot on the Contender Series. But now this is way off the deep end against a veteran like Zaleski Dos Santos, who, honest to God, almost finished Randy Brown in his last fight. So, Maddie, I don't know where this line's going to drop. I'm guessing Zaleski probably going to be the second largest favorite on this card. It just is going to come down to what's inside the distance look like. Do we think he can get the finish? Like, I don't think this to me seems way over Scroggin's experience and his level of competition, but I like his gym. So, with no betting line, I don't really know what to do and think about this fight.
Who were you gonna take in the previous matchup?
I played Dalby.
Dude, I was getting ready to hammer. I was getting ready to hammer Nicholas Dalby in that spot.
Okay.
And but I was a little scared, because initial read, I was like, because it was like a pick 'em, right?
Yes, it was
very close to a pick 'em, and I was like, "Oh, I'm about to hammer Nicholas Dalby." And then you go back and start really looking through everything. You're like, "Fuck it," and you start to overthink it. But usually that initial read, just stick with it. And I was getting very close to putting a big bet on Nicholas Dalby.
Yeah.
I just think that dude's a stud, but so is Zaleski.
Yep.
I didn't spend a single minute on this fight yet. I didn't even know who the replacement was. It's been a rough week for me. But yeah, I don't have much to say here. I was hoping I was going to be able to play Dalby at dog money or even pick 'em money. But have I missed what you said. Was there any line out for this yet?
No, so we don't have a line. I could take a look. I doubt we have one at any of these other sports books, given this is so fresh. And Scroggin, coming off the regional scene, he works with Trey Ogden's gym at Marathon. I generally like the gym. He probably, we don't have a line on this book either. He feels like a Contender Series guy to me. Like would have gotten a good look on the Contender Series, but man, he's going to be a lot bigger. Like it says on our graphic, he's 6'3", 75-inch reach. Like he's got unbelievable physical tools for this division, but just Zaleski's experience, the Renat fight that goes to a draw where he had Renat hurt late hasn't aged particularly well when Renat seems to be losing all these decisions that he ends up getting anyway.
Yeah, that's true.
So,
that was still so crazy. He won that decision and still can't even admit that he lost.
Yeah. It'll depend on I could see myself playing Zaleski points at a certain number. Like if it's just overwhelming consensus he's going to finish this dude, he's not really a finisher. But then if I get inside the distance around plus 125 because he's not a finisher, well, this is a spot where you can find it. So it's really going to come down to the number for me and see if I see anything appealing.
Yeah, I'm trying to see. I'm seeing plus 400 on Zach.
Okay.
But there's nothing out there as far as props.
Yeah. Plus 400. So Zaleski's probably in that minus 550 area then, right?
Correct.
Makes sense. I mean, that's probably where I would have lined it around minus 5. So
yeah, I like Zaleski decision first gut instinct, but
and with big favorites like that, a lot of times you can get points props that are pretty lengthy. So we'll see what it comes in at. But let's move on here to a fight maybe we can take something in. Next fight up, Cortavious Romious coming off the Contender Series, taking on an old friend that we've seen at least a couple times in UFC, Gaston Bolaños, this bantamweight fight here. Romious getting thrown right into competition. It felt like he was on the Contender Series like a month ago, but now he's back already. So had an impressive win there. Did go to a decision, which is always a little sketchy if you don't know how good the other guy is. And Bolaños, he got tattooed by Marcus McGee in his last fight. Marcus McGee led him up 6 ways to Sunday. So a lot of layers to this fight, not a lot of experience. It's kind of an Apex special in a way. So, Maddie, what do you think about Romious or Bolaños? Do you have a lean toward one of these guys in general?
I liked Bolaños, and then he got lit up by. What did he get put away in round 2 in that fight? I think it was.
Yeah, it was late round 2.
Yeah. I don't want to jump ship off of him though. I don't mind taking dog money here. I mean, Marcus McGee is really fucking good. I'm kind of leaning dog money on this one.
Yeah. This is almost like a parlay that I don't want to play that I think you have to. I think Marcus McGee might be getting a little bit too much steam given the guys he's gone through in UFC. So
really?
He went through JP Bays, he went through Journey Newson, and now Gaston Bolaños is a guy that entered UFC with a lot of hype about his striking, but now in his first striking match, it didn't go very well. He surrendered the first career submission attempt of Aaron Phillips' career.
Oh, he's fighting Jonathan Martinez next, so that'll be a real test.
I would love to see what that line is, and we'll talk about it. I think it's next week, if I'm not mistaken.
I won't be surprised if they make Martinez a dog.
He is a dog right now. Oh,
he is a dog.
Lord, that's going to be a massive Austin play. I'll tell you that much. But as far as how it impacts this fight, Romious is a guy, he was knocked out on his first Contender Series appearance by Ramon Tavares, right? And then he comes back and he gets the win over the Canadian grappling guy in his second appearance. But I have a theory that Bolaños can't grapple at all, just a 50% takedown defense. And Romious is a guy that tried 3 submission attempts, I believe, on the Contender Series. You see on his regional film, he does a lot of scrambling. He got some arm bars off his back. If Bolaños can't grapple at all, Romious, I think, is pretty close to a black belt. But
yeah,
this is the other spot I was going to say is that I think if it's not Blackshear sub, it'd be Romious sub because it's just,
it does make a lot of sense.
Yeah, and Romious is very good off of his back, and he's also very good in top position. The weird thing about him, though, he doesn't really attempt takedowns, so he doesn't really try to get the
Bro,
fight.
am I remembering this right? Didn't I have McGee's sub?
I might have talked you into McGee's sub.
I got McGee's sub in that spot, but he just didn't need.
No, he didn't.
This could be a good spot for Romious by sub.
This is the other sub I wanted to sell you on. I wouldn't blame you at all if you felt better about Blackshear just because we know more about him. But I just think Bolaños is a super one-dimensional guy.
But Blackshear's opponent is going to be better defensively against submissions compared to Bolaños.
Yeah.
Hold on, let me take a look here. I could have sworn I had. I'm searching on my Twitter right now. Yeah, I had McGee's sub.
I still don't hate that. It's one of those angles.
That was January this year. It was January, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, bro.
It is a good point in chat, and that Damon may not be able to take Stamann to the ground at all, so it just ends up being an unexciting boxing match for 15 minutes between Stamann and Blackshear. If Stamann doesn't initiate the wrestling, Blackshear might not be able to take him down. It's a good point from our chat.
He could jump on his back on the feet though.
Yeah. It is a great point from our chat that Stamann's takedown defense is much better. I like Blackshear sub, but as far as a guy I'm more confident can get it to the ground, I think it is Romious. And he does that.
Yeah. No, you're definitely selling me on it. Yeah. I mean, Blackshear might be good for just a straight bet sub.
Yeah.
Whereas the cycle parlay maybe. I mean, do we know the number on this one?
Let's see if we've got.
I already know my knockout one, and you're probably not gonna like it.
So, I mean, I had a knockout.
I'm gonna have to sell you on it. So, all right, hold on. Please let this number be good, bro. Where the fuck is it? It's not on FanDuel yet, right?
I'm looking right now.
Look on FanDuel because I'm looking elsewhere.
No, it's not on FanDuel.
Plus 175.
A Romious sub in this spot? Yeah, oh my god, that's so hitting.
It's definitely hitting. Yeah. Let's see. If we can get let's wait for. I think we should wait for FanDuel numbers to put our cycle parlay.
We might get plus 210 on FanDuel for a plus 175.
I'm so about that.
Yeah.
I'm so about that.
Okay, this is a spot where I know the number isn't as good, but I think there's good reason for it. My odds makers are so with me on this that they think Bolaños might not be able to grapple at all. Sick.
I think you have a perfect read, bro.
Yeah. So that is phenomenal. We'll bookmark that and come back to it. But
Let's
why
do
don't we
it.
dive on to the next featured prelim here? Denise Gomes taking on Karolina Kowalkiewicz at women's strawweight. This was a point of contention between me and Clint on Monday. Not really contention. We were just agreeing with each other wholeheartedly. We felt so good about the read here. But Gomes is a big favorite. She's minus 530. That does not come without any sort of asking price, man. It's like, if you're making a Kowalkiewicz experience start here, I can't blame you, even though she's 39. But I was able to model this fight. Obviously, not showing value on this money line, Maddie. But do you think Gomes is worth this chalk? And are you interested in her prop market?
A prop market, yes. I mean, this girl does have real power. I mean, she's the girl she hasn't been able to put away, never get put away.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, Angela Hill never been knocked out. She wasn't able to knock her out.
Yes.
Eduarda never been knocked out.
Yep.
She wasn't able to knock her out. But then, like the Bruna Brazil performance, like people think Bruna Brazil's a cam, but she actually looked good recently.
Yes.
And she was able to put her away by ground strikes. She put out Yasmin by punches.
Yep.
She's got real power. She definitely
Yes, she
does have
does.
real power. But this girl, this is tough, bro. This is tough. I think like a KO decision double chance for Denise. I don't know how much that's going to really shrink the money line though.
It could a little bit, given that Kowalkiewicz has been susceptible to subs. The sub tendencies there for Denise, but Clint and I both love Gomes' knockout here. We are so due. Strawweight doesn't have a knockout since they changed gloves, the 115 division here. And really, the biggest thing is that the only girls that Gomes hasn't knocked out, they landed at least 3 takedowns against her. They had that weapon of being able to keep her against the cage, not be at distance. Kowalkiewicz is going to stand there and strike with her for 15 minutes, man. And like, she's almost 40. Gomes has real power, 0.66% knockdown rate for this division. This was where I was going to try to sell you for the cycle for a knockout. I love Gomes KO. I'm not playing the money line. I'm not messing around double chance this week. The prop I will have a full unit on is Gomes KO here.
What number?
It doesn't matter. Because I know it's going to be lofty, because when you look at the totals in this fight, they're overwhelming.
Plus 275. That's a great number.
For the KO?
Yeah.
Yeah, for a minus 530 favorite that...
What the fuck? I thought it was like not minus. I thought it was like plus 150.
Yeah. This is that sweet spot we were living in with Jeff Neal KO, Hamzat Kamayev sub, where it's like, it's shorter than like a long shot, but there's a reason for it. Yeah, that's a good number to me, plus 275.
All right. Well, let's come back to it.
Yeah, I'm curious what
I want to
take.
sell you on mine, because mine's going to be a higher number than that by far.
Yeah. Oh, okay. If it's a higher number than that,
you're probably not going to like it. So we'll probably
there's one fight. There's another fight that I potentially think maybe we go chalk with a KO. So why don't we move forward here? Not much left to say. It doesn't sound like either of us are going Kowalkiewicz or even thinking about it. So this next fight is the other spot I was maybe thinking about a potential KO. Violence is a huge favorite here between Mansur Abdul-Malik taking on Duško Todorović. We all collectively together learned Todorović is still on the roster. He tore his ACL last March against Christian Leroy Duncan. We haven't seen him since. And now he's being fed to a guy off the Contender Series that I think the UFC would like to have at least a little bit of success, right? He had a second round ground and pound of Wes Schultz off the Contender Series early in the season. So, I think this is a crazy price. It's very high of a money line for a guy coming off the Contender Series, but it is a friendly matchup for a dude who likes to nuke people. So, are you buying the chalk here with Mansur, Maddie?
I mean, I would play the KO here for sure.
I mean, this is what, Clint and I both talked about it. I think this is round 1-2 KO. It feels kind of square, but Todorović, really bad striking defense. He's gone out in the first round, I think, in 4 UFC fights, Maddie. 2 of those guys now fight at welterweight, so they weren't even true 185ers. Like,
bro, guess what the KO number is?
It's something probably really short. What is it?
Minus 165.
I mean, it's almost not even cycle eligible. It's so chalk, right?
Yeah,
And then I'm guessing probably round one's going to be around even money then.
probably like plus 110 or some shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean it's gonna hit though.
Yeah, I mean this guy looks like the type of guy I want to fade off the Contender Series. He just looks like a guy that's going to throw some inaccurate punches, gas, and some veteran down the road is gonna end up outlasting him and winning second, third round. Have to teach him a lesson, but like I just don't trust the durability of Todorović here. I don't even think it's worth the sprinkle. Where this line to me is exactly where it should be. The KO is exactly where it should be. I really can't see this fight going any other way, especially since they bumped it up onto the main card just now.
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah,
we'll see what the number comes in at, but yeah, we're on the same page there.
cool. All righty. Next fight up on the card. Jillian Robertson taking on Luana Pinheiro. By the way, did you see that when Baker Mayfield needed a touchdown in overtime on Monday to cash you out? I replied in your comments because you said you'd do whatever the top comments said. I said I wanted to make you throw 2,500 on one of the women's underdogs this week. So I was thinking it might end up being Klaudia Syguła because I'm not sure how much you want to play Luana Pinheiro here opposite Jillian at minus 430. Jillian Robertson's been our girl. My model loves her. You've been with me in the past. She hurt you that one time in Canada where you were looking for a sub and she got the TKO instead. But that's the game we play with Jillian here. She's overwhelmingly expected to win this weekend. My question is, are you thinking about a dog shot given that Pinheiro has had some UFC success, or is it really just how we're going to think about playing Jillian in the spot?
Give me Jillian Robertson by knockout, baby. Plus 500. It's fucking smacking in this matchup. It's fucking smacking. If it was up to me, I'd put this bad boy in the cycle parlay. Because guess what? She loves the new rule set where she can throw elbows the way she wants to. She's on record talking about that. She's already screwed me once before when I needed her as the third leg of my parlay to cash to submit Polyana Viana, and she was on her back and ground and ground and pounded her out.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you, I can sense it. Plus, she trains at Boca Boxing. She works with one of my coaches, Brandon. She's got better hands. She's gonna ragdoll Luana, and she's looking for the ground and pound here. I'm telling you. Give me the knockout plus 500. What do you think it'll come in at on FanDuel?
Probably higher than that. We're up onto the main card. Gosh, I would really feel left. Okay, we do have method of victories on FanDuel for this guy. So Robertson sub plus 130, points plus 260, knockout plus 550.
Feed me that knockout. Feed me that knockout plus 550.
And then a greater question: Robertson inside the distance minus 135.
No, sir. I want the knockout.
So I'm here. Here's where I'm with you. I think like as a straight bet, I'm with you in that the new elbows to me are a big deal for the specific way that Robertson throws ground and pound. I think it's a very, very excellent point. In the cycle parlay, I just really don't know if this is a game that I want to play. I think almost in this spot. First of all, we have to look at Pinheiro as well on the other side. She's lost 2 straight fights. She got finished. Yeah, she got finished in the third round by ground and pound by Amanda Hebas, right?
That was 3 fights ago. Yeah. Oh no, there's a grappling fight in there.
Oh, yeah, so she was submitted in a grappling fight.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, she got submitted in a grappling match in January.
Yeah.
So she basically lost 2 straight matches by submission, 1 MMA, 1 grappling.
Yeah.
And then she lost by ground and pound or wheel kick and punches to Amanda Hebas.
Yes. Yeah. She got finished from strikes in that fight, and then she was subbed by Angela Hill, which, by the way, I'm pretty sure that was the first sub of Angela Hill's career. It's like we've got a tendency now with Pinheiro. She gasses really bad at the end of this fight, at the end of these fights. Maddie, it's just a game that I don't feel like playing. Like the Jilly, I'm surprised the 2 outcomes are that different when sub versus decision, but like I have a feeling you're going to be making a video on Saturday heartbroken because the ground and pound was there and then she grabs the neck, dude. It's like it's such a dangerous game to play where I'd so much rather just play as I'm betting for me and not just have fun. Like I'd rather play inside the distance, but I understand the knockout appeal, especially relative to price.
It's a great number. It's a great number at the end of the day.
Yeah. I'm surprised inside the distance is not higher, dude.
Yeah.
I might play Robertson inside the distance as part of the safe parlay. Maybe even if we're going for safer, I throw decision in there. We think about a money line, but like,
yeah. I just see Luana covering up and Jillian landing ground and pound, especially if she's gassed out. I already saw it happen in my head, bro. It's hitting.
Yeah, I was talking with Clint on Monday. I'm not even sure, like, so Jillian, you think to yourself, okay, well, Pinheiro's a gas bag, but she's okay from the start. Robertson, round 1 plus 240, round 2 plus 450, round 3 plus 750. So they actually think round 1 is the most likely outcome by a good deal.
Yeah.
To me, that I don't think that gives anything away, knockout or submission, but that's a little surprising. It almost makes me want to play Robertson 2-3. Yeah, as sprinkles instead of I may not end up playing any sort of specific method in this fight, just rooting for you with the knockout.
Yeah. No, I mean I'll probably play 2-3 on my card. And I'll probably just straight bet the knockout.
Yeah.
You know.
So when it comes down to it,
the problem is she's so dangerous in round 1, dude. I mean, I could get reverse swept on that.
That's kind of what I think. That's kind of
the Polyana Viana fight, she pretty much had Polyana choked out in round 1 and Polyana survived. You know, I mean, and Jillian, I just think Jillian's kind of like entering her prime in a way.
Agreed.
You know, like she's getting very dangerous. Like she's getting more well-rounded. She's just strong for this weight class. Yes. I mean, remember this girl subbed out Rose in grappling, who just went 5 rounds with Erin Blanchfield.
Yeah.
Like, I would be shocked. Honestly, this should be like a 5-unit inside the distance type of play.
Yeah.
I'd be shocked if it goes 3 rounds.
Yeah.
Absolutely shocked. I mean, the only way this goes 3 rounds is if somehow Jillian can't get the takedowns.
Yeah. The thing about her last fight, Watterson, it went the distance, right? Michelle didn't quit, but we've seen Pinheiro quit 2 fights in a row.
Yeah.
So like I think this is a spot where you get back on the Jillian ITD train.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll have a debate on KO because I'm not opposed.
Are you ready for this?
I'm not opposed.
I'm giving you guys insider information right here. Okay, there's 930 people watching the stream. You guys have to promise to not tell anyone or don't record this. I just DM'd Jillian's coach.
We're recording. Okay.
I'm not going to mention names because she has lots of coaches. I said, Jillian's getting a KO this weekend. I can feel it. He said, if that happens, I will have done my job well. And she very well could. She's got a lethal right hand. We just haven't seen it yet. So that means, and he's not even considering the ground and pound. He's talking about on the feet. That's another option here. But I'm telling you right now, bro, the knockout is smacking. Plus 550. That number is phenomenal in this spot.
She's taking this girl down, in my opinion. A very gettable target. Like, why would she not? But I don't know. Maybe she plays. I think that benefits 2-3 if she ends up playing.
What's the submission number?
It's plus 130. I think relative to knockout, it's too far apart.
Yeah, I mean, what I'll do is I'll put a big bet down on the knockout. Plus, It's funny because most people do this the other way around, but this just shows how I like to bet. But what I'll do is I'll put a big bet down on the KO at plus 550. So let's call it, if I put 5K down on plus 550 to win like 25, 30K, right? Then I'll put a submission bet down to cover my 5K.
Yeah.
And then if it goes a distance, I'm just housed. But if she subs her, I cover my knockout bet. So it's like an insurance bet. It's an insurance bet for the long shot, whereas most people would do it the other way around. So if that makes sense.
Boy, am I just concerned with KO that Pinheiro doesn't know how to defend subs at all, bro. She tapped to the first.
No, I get it. We don't got to put it in the cycle.
But I don't want to put Gomes in there if you really like Robertson.
No, I like Gomes. It's just it's like how big do we want our cycle parlay to be? We want a small one.
Well, it's just going to vary how much we put on it week to week. Yeah, right? We just got to do. We can't force anything. We just got to do whatever comes natural. So
people say just bet the inside the distance.
we already established we're playing inside.
Bro, I like my long shots. I bet the way I bet, people. Yeah. You guys know me by now. I want my long shots. Okay,
I'm getting my Mike Bolaños.
I can't wait to talk about my boy GM3 here. being disrespected.
Yeah. I'm so glad we're gonna talk about this fight, Maddie, because I think I'm taking crazy pills when I look at this betting line. So Renier de Ridder, if you don't know who he is, if you just love UFC just only like me, I tried to learn a little bit about him. He's a 2 Division 1 championship former champion, both middleweight and light heavyweight. He's a really slick grappler, which is what makes this matchup so interesting. In that, who is the UFC's middleweight submission ace? It's Maddie's boy, Gerald Meerschaert, and they think to themselves, this fight is going to be unbelievable because we have two high-level grapplers going at it. Surprisingly, though, odds makers have made a stand. They think Renier de Ridder is going to get the better of GM3 in this spot. We should have props on FanDuel, and I have had this one circled as like, I got to see what the props are on this fight, because why is de Ridder such a big favorite in this spot? Maddie, you think GM3 is being disrespected here. I guess my question would be why. What do you think is GM3's path to victory?
I don't know about the DM right now. Hold on.
We're gonna find it. This is just Maddie tries to gather.
So how you feeling, bro?
This is an interesting. This method.
I'm telling him I'm coming. All right, we'll see what he says. But I'm telling you right now, bro. You know me. See, everyone thinks I'm just a submission junkie, but that's not true. I'm more of a contrarian prop junkie, right? So, and everyone goes submission. I like the knockout at the better number. When everyone likes the knockout, I like the submission at the better number. GM3 pretty much knocked out Bruno Silva. It was a submission.
Yeah.
But is there a world where GM3 gets the hands going in a grappling match here?
Yeah.
I got to see the number because he's a 2-1 dog. It could be massive.
It's 13-1 knockout.
Get the fuck out of here. Get the fuck out of here. It's 13-1?
Yeah.
Holy shit, bro.
Isn't that what you played against Shabazian, though, Maddie?
Bro.
You got to listen when GM3 tells you who he is. He always looks for the neck, dude. It doesn't
I know he
matter
does.
Who it is.
I know he does.
Matter. He doesn't ground and pound. Like, he had the standing KO against Silva's like poor defense.
Yeah, but you got to factor in opposition. His opponent's never been submitted. Has been knocked out twice.
I like it,
and GM3's submission is 5-1. That's asinine, bro.
So
you know we got to pull up the clip where GM3 on the pod was just like, I don't know why they keep laying these submission prop numbers so high on me. He's like, every time I win, that's how I'm gonna win. And every time, and here it is again. It's just sitting on a fucking dinner plate. Plus 500 GM3 by submission.
You're advocating though for a knockout, and it's like he's telling you he wants to win by sub, and he's making UFC records, bro. I think if the neck is there, and by the way, here's what I was going to try to say. First of all, let me establish this. I like GM3 to win this fight at this number because we don't know anything about de Ridder, and there's a lot of.
And what is GM3's weakness? It's getting tagged early by strikers.
Sure,
this is a perfect matchup for him as a big dog.
Yeah, de Ridder is not a guy that really stands at all. He's very much their version of GM3, if you want to conceptualize his fighting style. And by the way, this is de Ridder's first cut to 185 in like 3 years. It's been a long time since he cut weight to middleweight. I think this is a spot where the death gas is on the table, bro. And Meerschaert 2-3 sub is what we take here again.
GM3 just hit me back, bro. Hold on. Keep talking. I'm getting to the point here.
I always play. I blind play GM3 2-3 sub. It's 17-1 and 23-1, Maddie. I feel like if I'm playing a death gas angle, and maybe I'll get on money line as well. But if I'm playing a death gas angle, they always give me this at like 15 and 20-1, and I play it and it hits every time. Maybe I just play the round props, though.
Mm-hmm. He said he's feeling great. Hold on. He said, feeling great. Weight is perfect. Ready to put on a show. So now I didn't directly ask him anything. I just said, hey, just so you know, the KO number is this. The submission number is this. Let's just see what he says.
Don't get GM3 in trouble. There's some sort of line.
No. All I said is it's disrespectful, these numbers, you know.
Yeah. So we got
nobody in
you
trouble.
Want to throw those two comments up there? We got one GM3 round 2. We got another GM3 round 3. 12-1 round 2. 16-1 round 3. You don't have to care about.
I'm down to ride the submission, you guys. Maybe I'm getting out of hand on my KO props.
What do you think about just the round, though, dude? Round 2-3, 12-1, 16-1.
But dude, imagine catching the cycle parlay with a GM3 sub at the end of it. That'd be electric. We got because think about it. We need a good number on the. We need a good number on one of these, right? If we're gonna go Denise Gomes by knockout, it's gonna be a small number. If we're going, we haven't figured out a decision one, but we could probably find a big favorite by decision, and then we go GM3 by sub for the culture to bring home the cycle parlay.
Yeah,
at the Apex when I'm live in person, I might be about that, bro.
Yeah, I certainly wouldn't want to throw GM3 knockout into the. I just think
I'd rather go. I would much rather go. Julian Robertson knockout at what was it, 4-1?
Yeah.
Then GM3 knockout 5 or that's 13-1. Fuck.
Well, so if we're thinking GM3 sub, which is like 5-1, 5 plus 550, we could even entertain the possibility of instead of forcing Gomes or Robertson in there, we just go Abdul-Malik knockout.
Maybe we need an inside the distance parlay, bro.
Yeah, because you and I are stressed out about these favorites we love.
Yeah, it is what it is. That's what I've learned is it is what it is, bro. I ain't overthinking shit. There's no regrets. We just hit a huge cycle parlay. We're 2 weeks away, 2 weeks out, just because we lost a cycle parlay. What are we going to do? Change it up now? Yeah. We got to keep it going. We got to be confident. We got to build this shit with confidence. Whatever we build it, whatever we go with, we just build it with confidence and no regrets.
Yeah. Like we didn't have to force that one at all. It was exactly what we were thinking the entire time.
Right. That is true. That is true.
How many times has Meerschaert been subbed in UFC? That's what I'm looking up right now.
He has been subbed a lot.
So he's only been subbed once with UFC though. A lot of those were outside.
Okay, that's a good point because when you look at his Tapology, you're like, 8 submission losses.
I feel like DeRitter plus 195 for sub. I know that's his thing.
But like he's grappling with Craig Jones.
Okay, it was a guillotine, by the way. Jack Hermanson, first round.
Got it.
So Jack Hermanson got him with a guillotine.
Yeah.
Do you think he shoots on DeRitter, or does he let DeRitter shoot?
I don't know.
I would let DeRitter shoot. I think GM3's hands are better.
Don't fucking sell me on a knockout, bro.
No, but I don't know if he's putting DeRitter out with his hands. I'm just saying that.
He nearly put out Bruno Silva with his hands.
Yeah. But first round DeRitter, very scary dude. I'm afraid because he's older and it's been a long time since he cut to 185. I'm thinking a death gas potentially.
Ooh, don't sell me on a 2-3 GM3 sub.
That's what I did. I was just talking about that. I was like, I think 2-3 sub. I gotta play it. But the rounds are not much different, so I could just throw round prop instead. Yeah. I agree with that comment that we just got that DeRitter starts the grappling and slows down. I think that's exactly how the fight looks. And then Meerschaert, I think, gets him. I think he snaps his neck.
I'm so about that.
You got to decide what you're going to do, but I'm so glad you're going to get to support your boy GM3. Maybe he'll come out of the octagon, like jump over the octagon and come sell you, bro.
Yeah.
Electric. If you're going nuts, that would be so hilarious to see on E+.
100%.
Alrighty, so I don't move on to co-main. We'll see if we can.
But we agree. We're aligned that it's dog money all day in this fight.
Yeah, DeRitter the price.
You could go dog money and DeRitter round 1 as a hedge if you wanted to.
Yeah, you cannot substantiate DeRitter's resume anywhere tangentially through like a UFC connection. This guy could be a complete and total guy at the UFC level. Hey, I know there are a lot of people that think DeRitter is really good, but number 1, he's out of his prime. Number 2, been fighting nobodies. So
he's only 34. Why do I feel like he's older?
But I mean, like, so he lost a couple of fights in a row to the Russian guy. I forget his name now. Vidolkin. I'm not remembering his name correctly, but he was knocked out in one of the fights.
Natalie Malkin.
Yeah, that guy.
Yeah, and he gave up in that last one.
Yeah,
round 3.
Meerschaert's a guy that'll make you give up and tap. I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's Holy, the Russian guy from One Championship. So, sorry that I don't have any more specifics there, but like, what I do is UFC data. I don't have any tangential points for him. I think minus 300 is insane against a guy with GM3. If you're telling me this guy's going to come in and sub GM3, yeah, right. The only time he's ever been subbed, he got caught wrestling. If GM3 doesn't wrestle, I don't think he gets caught with anything in this fight.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. I cannot see GM3 getting subbed, dude. He is so good on the ground. It's like I think he's the best, just pure BJJ guy probably in this division.
The only thing, it is crazy. He lost to Pfeiffer in a grappling match.
Yeah. Pfeiffer's just so big and strong.
It was a decision. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's true. And then, yeah.
I know. Didn't he get tapped? Was he who got tapped by Craig Jones, right?
Right. Yeah, that was
That's not a fair fight. That's not a fair fight.
Yeah. I mean, Petrosky, he went the distance with in the MMA fight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, there was a chance that DeRitter could be like exactly as effective as Petrosky is in UFC. I don't think it's
round 2-3 sub is definitely the move with him.
Yeah, I'm gonna play round 2.
You see how many round 2-3 subs he has? It's crazy, bro.
Yeah, I played this exact angle against Shabazian, and I think DeRitter with the weight cut could gas too. So
yeah.
why don't we talk about the co-main and the main, and we'll wrap it up and maybe kind of try to find some middle ground here. This co-main event has seemed to move up the card all week. Bernardo Sopai taking on Ricky Turcios. Think about Bernardo Sopai's last moment in the octagon getting kneed in the face by Vinicius Oliveira. And how about this for an Apex card? The UFC said, you know what? Let's put that guy in the co-main event. That's what we're going to get here against Turcios for Ultimate Fighter.
And Sopai should have, although that was a sick knockout, the dude was already done on the feet. So it's kind of an overrated knockout, in my opinion. Number 2, Sopai should have had Vinicius out of there earlier in that fight.
Yeah.
I remember I should have won that fight at round 2 for Sopai.
Yeah.
He was seconds away from finishing that fight. So this guy's better than what we give him credit, and that knockout's a little overrated in my opinion.
Yeah. And I think the context with Sopai, he took that fight on like 5 days notice. It was up in weight at the time. He had been competing at flyweight, comes in, takes the fight at 135, and Vinicius Oliveira just beat Ricky Simone. So like, there's tangible skill. I really like Sopai. I do. It's unfortunate that he ended up on the wrong end of a highlight, but I tried to talk Clint off of Turcios here because I love Bernardo Sopai in this fight.
I like Turcios too, though. Like in general, I think he's a good. He's just a dog, bro. I mean,
a dog getting taken down and put on his back by guys who have no UFC wins, in my opinion. He'll throw elbows and stuff off his back. Like, he tries to make it count, but the guy cannot defend takedowns. And Raul Rosas was able to get to his back. I do not think that Turcios does an effective enough job with defensive grappling. Sopai landed 3 or 4 takedowns on Vinicius Oliveira in his debut.
Yeah, and then Simone couldn't do anything.
Yeah, the interesting thing will be how the striking efficiency looks in this one, because Sopai is giving up quite a bit of reach. He was a flyweight regionally. Turcios has had inconsistent effectiveness, but there's one of our premium picks, guys. Is this a good time to plug the premium picks on Homo Fight?
Yeah.
Nolan, the Parlay MMA. We've got Hey Jive Hayden as well that gives out picks. We got premium picks. You can subscribe to their picks. Easy for me to say. They're up over 140 units year to date 2024. So give that a look. We'll have a link to that in the episode description. Not free picks like Maddie and I's, good stuff. And that's the type of analysis you get from Nolan. And he did have, that was a pretty back and forth first round with Rosas before that second round. But like,
yeah. No, this is a tough fight for me, honestly. Yeah. I'm definitely not playing Sopai at minus 370. I think Ricky's pretty solid.
Yeah.
The striking will, I think, be interesting in this matchup. We just haven't seen enough out of Sopai yet, but I did like what I saw against Vinicius Oliveira. Like, I thought he was the better fighter, and he almost had Oliveira out of there in round 2.
Yeah.
And Sopai's a finisher.
Yeah. Interesting, though, Maddie. Over 2.5 rounds here, minus 180.
Give me the under at plus money.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess it really just does come down to how legitimate you think that Sopai gas out was. I thought it was circumstantial from taking the fight.
I mean, that over is just based off of Ricky Turcios. I mean, he has distance like before that Raul Rosas Jr. fight, he went to distance 5 straight fights. So that's why that number's like that.
We're a little split. I like the over. I think I prefer both guys finished in their last fight.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, overs minus 180. Like it's a little bit of divisional trends there. And Sopai, not a super big guy for this division. Like you said, he had Oliveira in trouble, wasn't able to finish him. I think Turcios' submission defense is fine. Like, who do you think's putting who out and how?
Yeah, no, it's a good point.
I like Sopai points here.
Sopai KOs plus 320, points is plus 110, and sub is plus 750. Yeah, I would go KO or decision for Sopai here.
Might be a spot where I look to play minus 3.5, so that covers Sopai inside the distance as well as like a 30-27 type of performance. I just think the wrestling is going to be a big deal.
You probably be sweating round 3 a little bit.
A little bit. Maybe round 3 decision could be round 3 decision for Sopai is probably close to even money if I had to guess.
Yeah,
that's actually minus 130. That's weird. They're so different. Points is plus 110. Round 3 decisions minus 130. Maybe they're saying, hey, he's gonna break this guy in round 3.
Yeah.
It's one of those fishy lines you see on the Contender Series sometimes. But, Maddie, why don't we move on to our main event of boy, oh boy, is this an Apex special if I've ever seen one, man. Carlos Prates against Neil Magny. Will the gate be kept? Neil Magny, one of the all-time UFC gatekeepers. We saw him turn back Mike Malott a couple fights ago. Then it didn't go very well for him. Finished in the first round against Michael Morales. And Carlos Prates, one of UFC's maybe most highly touted prospects at present.
He's so good.
Destroyed Li Jingliang in a fight that many expected to be a little bit competitive, a little bit close, and he just continues this momentum for the fighting nerds. Maddie, what do you think here with Prates? He's actually up to minus 900. We can't even keep up with how big of a favorite. He'll probably close over minus 1,000 here. I'm sure there's creative ways to play this fight where you don't have to pay such a price, but Prates, big favorite. What are you thinking in this fight, man?
Yeah, I mean, the odds makers are pretty much looking at this fight. They're like, hey, please don't bet Prates by knockout, right? They've made his knockout minus 290, his submission plus 950, and his decision plus 800. So they're pretty much like, hey, we know he's about to put Neil Magny away on the feet. Please don't bet this. I mean, that's pretty much what's happening here.
Yeah.
I think you were on it with me in Magny's last fight. We had the round 1.
Yep.
I had the round 1. It was also my round 1 parlay. And I actually won a lot of money on that round 1 because, Neil Magny is a guy that usually survives early. I mean, Gilbert put him away in round 1, I think it was. But
yeah,
generally speaking, like he went the distance with Ian Gary. And then even when he's lost, like Shavkat put him away in round 2. And then Michael Morales is kind of a patient guy on the feet. So everyone was like, 2-3 Morales or decision. We went in and hammered round 1, and it was a sweat because Neil Magny had him against the cage for 80% of the round.
Yeah.
Then Morales gets out of it and just puts him away on the feet. Or puts him away, and then I think it was ground and pound after. I see it the same way here with Carlos Prates. I almost wonder, I mean, we haven't really seen Prates' grappling, but I have to believe it's decent level. I think it has to be. I mean, this guy
with the fighting nerds. Yeah,
exactly. I mean, what would you line Carlos Prates versus Michael Morales? Because that is tough.
I think Morales wins that fight because at this point we've got some evidence that Prates is able to be controlled a little bit against the cage, and Morales can do it all. He's a nearly flawless prospect. I would favor.
Yeah. Morales. I'm just so high on Carlos Prates, man. I don't know what it is about him. When he strikes on the feet, it's just. When you look at that, who's on earlier in the card they just put away,
Radtke, yeah,
Radtke, thank you. When you look at how he just toys, I mean, these are UFC fighters.
Yeah,
like the way he just toys the guys on the feet is just his level of striking is just different. He sees everything coming. He just grabs this dude's wrist and holds it, and then starts fainting, and then puts this dude away with a knee to the body. I mean. there's just nobody. I think in this weight class, like who strikes with him.
Yeah.
I mean, it's very impressive. So I don't know. I mean, I think the knockout is what happens here, but it's minus 290. So what are you really going to do with that? Maybe you go Prates round 2 here. I think could be the play. You hope that Magny survives round 1 with some control time or something up against the cage.
Yeah.
Let me take a look at that because I am curious. If you go Carlos Prates round 2, you get plus 410. How can you not play that? Round 1 is plus 190. And then round 3 is fucking plus 800. I like Carlos Prates round 2 knockout. I think if I had to pick something here.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I'm just all sorts of out of sorts with how this betting line looks because there's just no way a guy like Neil Magny should be plus 520 in this fight. Given, I love Carlos Prates' skill and what we've seen from him in some of the highlight moments at present, but I cannot responsibly endorse laying any sort of prop or association with a minus 1,000 money line on a guy who lost round 1 to Trevin Giles. I mean, he handily lost round 1 to Trevin Giles. Like, yes, he put out Giles in the second, but like, this is where Clinton and I were almost talking into an echo chamber on Monday because like we both think we're taking small darts at Neil Magny here, and the reason why is because if you go back and watch Prates' fight against Mitch Ramirez, gets crowded against the cage, gets taken down, controlled for over 2 minutes. That was like a little over a year ago. It wasn't that much longer ago. And then you look at Prates controlled against the cage by Charles Radtke for a bit. It was a close first round. Radtke was kind of stalling a little bit, but there is no better staller in UFC than Magny if he can get in, if he can make it dirty. And like, I kind of had a similar angle against Ian Gary with Magny that did not work out. I feel like Gary's footwork to avoid being crowded against the cage is better, but at the same time, I think what I'm deathly afraid of if I was going to play Neil Magny moneyline, which I haven't yet, is he just gets his leg torn off in this fight. He's never been able to check kicks. Prates is very active, very efficient.
He's too good, bro.
Yeah. Like it's just
he's won 10 fights in a row by knockout. Is that fucking crazy?
Yeah, and it's like, do I trust the durability of Neil Magny to hold up where maybe he does drag Prates into deep water and expose some of these flaws? Like, I think at plus 520, he's certainly undervalued to do so. But that being said, he probably doesn't happen very often. I think Prates KO looks like it. I think Prates KO and his money line should be about the same because if this fight is going to the distance, how is Magny surviving against Prates and also not winning it? Like, what does that look like in my opinion?
So were you looking at a Prates by sub?
So I think Prates sub is at least interesting here. It's an angle I played against Jing Liang, especially relative to his knockout price. And Magny's a guy that's going to shoot. He's going to have no choice but to shoot in this fight. And I played it on the Contender Series against Mitch Ramirez.
Yeah.
I think it's an intriguing dart if you want a specific way to back Prates, but I just don't think I'm going to do it. I think that what screams out to me is that I'm not going to certainly put anything meaningful behind it, but Magny 4-5 decision is plus 900 here. If Magny's going to
I'm like forgetting this is 5 rounds.
Yeah, if Magny's going to win,
what the fuck?
It's probably 4-5 decision.
The main event is just so weird at this because when you look at this matchup, you're like, you don't even think about that as 5 rounds.
Yeah. It's like, and like, is Prates less aggressive early? He's plus 190 to win by round. I find FanDuel's layout of Prates KO fascinating in that round 1 is plus 190 for a KO. Then it goes up to, what were you looking at, Matty? Goes up to plus 410.
Plus 410, then plus 800.
Plus 800, plus 1200, plus 1500. So KO is a big favorite, but they don't really know when.
Yeah.
I'm leaning Prates fraud check here. I love the guy, but I think there are a lot of holes in his game for the price that it costs right now.
I can't get there on that, but I understand your viewpoint on the number.
I think your way to play it smarter than like round 1 KO. Like Magny's not a guy that typically gets put away quickly, even though I think he just got round 1 KO'd, but it was on the ground, so it was a little bit different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Let's try to build. Let's start with your safety parlay. I know you want to turn that one down a little bit.
Safe parlay, we'll tone it down just a little bit.
I have a proposed leg number 1 for your safety parlay, pending your approval.
Okay.
All right, we're gonna go Jillian Robertson by KO or submission -135.
Okay. I was already clicking there. I love the inside the distance -130.
Am I crazy, or does that feel like such an affordable number for that?
It's more affordable than I was expecting. She was like -105 against Watterson, who had much less of a history of quitting.
Yeah.
So, and then
all right, now you take it home on the rest of it. I just had to throw you that one.
No, I like it. I like it. Well, no, I mean, I'd still love to build this thing together, Maddie. Like it's, gosh. Gomes money line -530. I don't see a particular amount of value on it. We're kind of limited that we don't have a lot of props on these fights yet, or even totals. Let's see. This is such exactly even money, bro. Robertson ITD, Tercio SoFi starts round 2. I feel like adding the second leg is almost kind of redundant there. There's just no value on -600 there. What do you think of Blackshear money line?
Oh, dude. Literally, that's what I'm on right now.
Oh my god. Okay. Well,
I think
we found it. A Jillian ITD
+134.
I'm gonna send this screenshot so the fellas can get it up for us.
Let's run that. It's a good bounce back spot for him.
Yeah, I like Blackshear getting back on the horse as well. It might be ugly, but may not catch the sub, but I like him to win the fight. So we'll handle put that up. So +134 when you throw those together, and I'll put it in the chat for everybody. Look at my guy Stewart coming in with Magny by sub balls of steel. I can't commit to the angle, dude. I'm just so afraid Magny's going to get his leg torn off in the first 2 minutes, just like he did against Ian Gary.
Yeah. Yeah, it's also a 5-round main event. Like I feel like Carlos Prates is gonna have a little bit of fun with it,
Yeah.
I don't think he's gonna go out there and just starch him in round 1. He's gonna kind of do what Ian Gary did, but maybe put him away.
Yeah. I
think 2-3 to me is what makes sense there.
Yeah, I like later. I like starting round 2, go later, take more of a contrarian angle. So there's our quote unquote safe parlay. We'll look to back up the Brinks truck again on that guy +134 if you play them together. And then Maddie, cycle time. So now we got to make some decisions because both of us had a lot of leads we liked, but now we got to really hammer out what.
Problem is we just don't have numbers on the prelims.
Yeah.
So do we push the cycle for another day?
I'm also good to build it with a different book if need be. If you have numbers, but some of these other books don't even have it,
Yeah. I mean, I'm gonna build multiple cycle lays this weekend. It's probably gonna be 2.
Oh, okay.
I have some. Oh fuck. Yeah, even some of the main fights aren't even on the board on FanDuel. The first one.
I was afraid of this with how many injuries and stuff we've had on the card. Maybe Wednesday that we weren't going to have. But we'll also get better numbers if we wait for some of FanDuel's numbers. Like
I'm down to wait a day.
Yeah. Why don't you and I conference on an official show parlay? We'll put it out on social. And then last week you had an alternate as well. So
yeah, and they both got mocked.
Edmonton was a tough one. Edmonton was a tough
It
one.
really was. Yeah, it was a brutal card. All right. Well, there is the safe parlay.
Yeah, we'll just go official, and then we'll give you guys the cycle for social media.
Yeah.
So,
Fair enough.
alrighty,
Let's run it.
alrighty, Maddie. I feel good about a lot of the angles we cooked up here today. Wait, why don't you tell the people where they can find you and when your card's going to be dropping this weekend?
Yeah, at Matty Bets on all channels, X, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. Watch out for the scammer Matty Bets channels. I'll say it again. Please do not give them your money. Don't get scammed. Check their account. I'm never going to DM and ask anyone for money, so please don't fall for that. We'll put out the cycle parlay within probably 24 hours. Probably by what? Tomorrow night, depending on when the numbers come out. Also, if any of you are in Vegas this weekend, DM me on Instagram at Matty Bets. I'll maybe try to do like a meetup or something fun there. I'm going to be staying at Fontainebleau Friday through, I think, Tuesday. I have to look. But I'm going to be going to the Apex card.
Awesome. Yeah, it should be a good anniversary. Maybe they'll do some fun stuff for the Apex history there. I'm on X at ASwing3, fatal.com/research/UFC. My betting guide for UFC Vegas 100 goes out on Friday. Until next time, guys, take care. We hope your bets hit. We'll get you a cycle parlay.
Now we got a long shot parlay. You pick one long shot, I pick one, and we put it in a parlay. Method of victory.
Don't we both like span sub 7-1?
Yeah, we do.
What about McGee sub at 8-1?
The thing is, bro, is if you print money just taking Tim Means to lose by submission. It really is crazy.
That's plus 7,100 right there, those two together.